Welcome to episode 9. Starting today off with $2,783, we're going to head over to Grand Villa to play a pretty long session. We're in for the 1-3 as well as a 2-5, and we're hoping for some run good today because we have not booked a win in almost a week now. Let's see if we can break the dry streak, and I'll see you in the hand reviews.
Alright, buckle up ladies and gents. This was a very difficult session. A ton of hard choices, calling down light, getting bluffed, 3-bets, 4-bet bluffs, just madness. Couldn't make a really good hand, too often. It was just very, very, very tough decisions. So this is going to be a good one. You're going to enjoy this. Our first playable hand, we have Ace Jack of Diamonds under the gun, bumping up to $20, standard raise, and the person to my left makes it 70. Folds back to us. I don't know if he's a rec or a reg at this time. Spoiler, he's a rec. So we're just going to call. Ace Jack suited is pretty strong, so make the call and off to a flop, which comes down okay. We get top pair good kicker on Ace Queen 8 Rainbow. Check it over to him, and he puts in a pretty small bet of 75. Actually, it's not small, it's pretty big. It's like just over half pot. Nothing to do here but call with top pair. Backdoor flush draw, black door. Straight draw, sweet call, and off to a turn, which is the 6 of clubs. Check it over to him, and he bets again 175. This time, I'm pretty much having to make a decision between call turn and then call river or give up here. I don't know if he's a rec or reg at this time, so I think I'm just going to call down with Ace Jack here. We don't have too many better hands. Maybe Ace Queen or Ace 8, Ace 6 suited. Pocket 8s, pocket 6s. We don't have pocket 6s actually. So pocket 8s. It's just not that many hands, so I'm going to decide on the turn to call down. 175 and only on blank rivers obviously. So we make the call, and river is the 10 of diamonds. Pretty much a blank unless he's got Ace 10, which would be over ambitious to be betting. Check it over to him. He goes all in. It's only $180 to call. We've pretty much made our decision on the turn. So we flick in the call and get shown Ace King. So we're going to get stacked on our first hand, unfortunately. Okay, so in this hand we rebought for 500 and then lost a 3-bet pot. So we've also put in another 500 to bring us up to about an 800, $800 or $900-ish stack. This is a bit silly. We're in this game for 1500 and our bankroll's under 3K, so it's more than half of our roll on the table. What am I doing? Don't recommend this. So, button straddles on. We've got pocket 3s in the big blind. We are going to open this up to $30. And this game was very, 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 very 3-bet heavy. Like, very. Under the gun +2 makes a call, and low jack raises it up to 130. Folds around. The button over calls for the 130. And here it's a little bit close. We're not really getting set mining odds, but we're going to be 4 ways. I don't know. I think that this is a fold, but we toss in the call, and under the gun also calls. So we're off to a very big pot. Flop comes down, amazing. Jack 7-3 Rainbow. We flop a set. We get paid for our bad call. Check it over to the original raiser, who puts in a very small bet of $75, like 1/5 pot. Button goes all in for 370. I tank a bit just to balance out my range if I actually had to have a difficult decision here with like Jack 10, and make the call, and both players get out of the way. I announce I've got a set. He just says set's good, so we are going to scoop this one. Alright, this is the hand that starts the trend of turning very good hands and then the river just turning our hand into a bluff catcher. Folds to us on the button, we've got Ace Deuce of clubs. I use a smaller sizing on the button because I've got a very wide range here, so I only do 3x here. Raise up to 15, and both players call. So 3 ways to a flop, which comes down pretty cool. 8-8-3 with 2 clubs. Checks to us, gonna bet small here, $15, and they both make the call. Turn's amazing. Turn the nut flush, and we got a straight flush redraw. So checks to us, we're gonna bet $45, half pot for a 3-tone board. And the small blind announces a raise. 125. Big blind gets out the way. We're definitely going to call here and see what happens. We don't want to over rep our hand, so we make the call. And river is one of the worst cards. 3 of diamonds, so any 8 now beats us. He bets 300, and I'm just about to snap fold, but then I think, who raises the turn with an 8. Like, you lost your opportunity on the flop when there was a flush draw. Now that flushes come in, now you raise, and now you're betting 300 into here. And I just sort of level myself into thinking that no one plays an 8 this way. It could be pocket 5s. That makes sense. But that's a very small range. It could be quads or 5s. So after thinking for a little bit, I just toss in the call. Doesn't make much sense. This is the same player as the ace king versus ace jack hand, by the way. So I do toss in the call, and he shows us 8-7 off. So weird turn raise. It kind of makes sense. He doesn't want a 4th club coming, but we are going to lose a pretty big, nearly $1,000 pot here. Well, isn't this familiar? We have ace jack of diamonds under the gun again. We're going to raise up to $20. Under the next player to act calls, middle position calls, and low jack, who we're going to play a lot of hands with this session. He's a very aggressive, quite a good reg. He makes $110 in the low jack. This guy is probably playing like 35 to 40% pre-flop raise and at least 20% 3-bet. Very, very, very aggressive and just barreling streets like crazy. I'm still trying to get a read on him. It's a little bit early, but makes 110. So we're going to 3-bet again with ace jack diamonds under the gun. We make the call and the other players get out the way. So heads up to a flop, which once again, flop top pair with a backdoor flush draw. We check it over to him and he puts in a continuation bet, which he's going to 100% here. $110, which is a little bit more than 1/3. We're going to make the call. Turns pretty bad. It's the queen of hearts. We check it over to him and he puts in a little bit smallish bet at 175, and there's just not that many rivers that we really enjoy here. I don't know. I think that this is still a call, but I'm just getting flashbacks to ace king hand, and I don't really know this person too well at this time, so we are going to make a little bit of a tight fold here. So we let this one go. Nice hand. Alright, so button straddles on in this hand. The small blind and big blind have completed, and we look down at ace of clubs, 10 of spades. Definitely good enough to ISO some limpers, so we make it $55, and everyone calls. So we're 4 ways to a flop, which comes down pretty sweet. Queen 9-4, all clubs, so we flop a nut flush draw with a nut flush blocker. When it checks to us, definitely going to use this hand as a bluff. Bet $75, and we get 2 callers from the button and the small blind, so all the way to a turn, which doesn't help us. It's a 3 of hearts. He checks it over, 3 flush boards. I'm always betting about half pot here, so $225 to go, and we get it through. That is insane. That's a single raise pot that's $445 on the turn. It just goes to show when the button straddles in, it's a 5-10 game. Like, that's an all-in right there in 1-3. But happy to take this one down with just ace high. Alright, this is the biggest hand so far of the vlog, and we are going to try to hang on for dear life in this hand. Folds around to us. We got ace 8 of clubs, going to bump it up to $20. Button makes the call, and this is the very aggressive player. He's going to 3-bet, of course, to $110, and we both make the call. Flop's pretty good. 8-7-5 rainbows. We flop top pair, top kicker. He's going to see about 100% here, so he makes it 120. And I think by theory you're supposed to raise if they're betting this wide, but that just feels really bad. So we're going to just call, and the button also makes a call. So not in love with my hand, but turn's all right. Turn is a 7 of diamonds, which should slow him down quite a bit with all of his overpairs, seeing as 2 players called. But he doesn't. He still goes out betting pretty large, 385, you know, just over half pot on a card that usually you're supposed to check on when the middle card pairs. You know, I thought I was done with the hand, but this just doesn't make sense. I know his 3-bet range, like he could have 6-4 suited here and just flop to straight. He could have pocket 5s. He could have 7-5 suited for a full house. But those are very, very, very few hands. And now that all his overpairs can't continue betting for value here into 2 players, I think we are just going to call this down and just pray. I'm getting a little bit annoyed. Not annoyed, but like at some point you got to put your foot down and call when players are just getting way out of line. It does suck that button is left behind us and he does cover us. And he could definitely have a 7 here, but I don't know. We're just going to make the call here. And button thinks for quite a while. It's pretty uncomfortable, but he does make the fold. No matter what the river is, we are going to call. I really hope we get an ace or an 8 to make my decision so much easier. It's the queen of spades. Not really my favorite card. Ace queen gets there. King queen. But he doesn't think for too long, ships it all in. I'm just going to go with a plan. This is going to be a fucking huge 2.7k pot with just a pair of 8s. We call. And $2,526 with a pair of 8s. And it is good. He said he had ace king. So glad my range was on point. He could have just had ace queen, rivered the queen. But we are going to win that $2,526 pot. Biggest one of the vlogs so far with just a pair of 8s. Very happy to have that one go our way. Okay, we're facing a hijack limp. Small blind completes. We've got ace of hearts, 10 of diamonds in the big blind. Definitely going to want to raise this up and ISO the limper. Raise up to $30 and the limper calls and small blind gets out the way. So off to a flop, which comes down pretty good for my range. It's king 9, 4, 2 spades. King high flops are pretty good for the pre-flop aggressor, so we're going to bet pretty small here. $20 and he makes the call. Turn, we pick up some equity. We got jack of diamonds. Now we've got a gut shot. And I think I'm supposed to check here, but I'm not sure. Also, his king can't be that strong because he just limp called pre-flop, so I'm actually going to go ahead and bet this, which I think this should be a check. But we're going to go ahead and bet, size up to $75, and he makes the call. Off to a river, which is, I don't know, it's okay. It's a king of diamonds, and ace high is no, or ace high is no longer good, but like jack 9 got counterfeited, but I don't expect him to have that. I think he'd raise that. It's going to be tough for him to call the 9 or a lower pocket pair, and it makes it less likely he's got a king that can call down with. So we don't have to bet too big because we're targeting, you know, 10s, not 10s, like pocket 8s and lower, or just a 9x, that part of his range with value and bluffs. So it doesn't have to be too big, it's pretty narrow. Bet 130, which is just under half pot, but he does make the call and he's got king deuce suited, so that one's not going to go our way. Okay, we got ace jack suited for the 3rd time. This time it's the other red ones. We're under the gun +1. We're going to raise it up to $20. Middle position calls, and our friend, the very aggressive player, is going to go ahead and bump it up to $85. Next player to act in the cutoff overcalls the 85. And when it folds back around to us, I ask him how much he has behind, and he started the hand with $400. Just because his 3-bet range is so wide, there's a lot of dead money out. We want to push everyone else out, and I'm happy to go heads up this player. I'm just going to ISO him. I know it doesn't feel good, 100 big blinds, ace jack, but we're just going to jam here. Not jam, but I put in $500. Middle position gets out of the way, and hijack folds pretty quickly, and so does the cutoff. So happy to pick up, you know, $197. No showdown. It's like 66 big blinds at 1-3. Love it. All right, a god dang button straddle is on this hand. Small blind completes, and we have 8-7 of hearts in middle position. Gonna raise this up to $40. And our good friend, once again, coming in with a 3-bet to $125. God damn it, man. Button overcalls. Small blind gets out the way, and we could 4-bet here, but we're gonna be committing ourselves if he jams, so I don't like that option. Getting a pretty good price out of position, but we make the call and head over to a flop, which comes out all right. It's king 3 with 2 hearts. We do flop a flush draw, but he's gonna have a lot of kings in his range. We check it over to him. He puts in a small-ish bet of 155. So, you know, it's like 40%. Button gets out the way. I don't think I'm gonna have any raises on a double king board as the pre-flop caller. It just seems bad. So we make the call, and turns pretty good. Queen of hearts, so we turn a flush. It's not a great one. Check it over to him, and he puts in another bet of 325. You know, another 40% bet. I just want to lay the trap here. I don't want to raise, blow him off. You know, he could be bluffing here with like air. So we're just going to set the trap and call and hoping for a good river, which does not come. It's a 5 of hearts. Our hand just turns to garbage once again. Check it over to him, and he thinks for quite a while. This is a player that acts really, really, really quick, like 5 seconds a street. But he takes a couple minutes here to think it over and decides on a sizing of $650. And we're in a very gross spot. The pot is now 2K. If we call, this will be the biggest pot of the vlog again. So I started thinking about his range. You can have pocket kings, pocket queens, king queen for all the full houses. He could have ace king with the ace of hearts. He could have ace queen with the ace of hearts. And he could have all the ace x of hearts, which is a lot of value. That is a ton of value that he can have that he plays this way. And this player could even have something like ace of hearts, 6 of spades. Like, he's that aggressive pre-flop. He could also probably have king 3 suited, but that also means his bluffs are pretty wide. End of the day, our hand doesn't have very good removal. You know, we are blocking like ace 8 and ace 7 of hearts, which is a little bit relevant, but his value range is a little bit wide here. Comes down to it, I literally cannot decide. I'm so torn between call or fold, so I give my opponent the option. I tell him, pick an animal, goat or goose. Goat is fold, goose is call. He thinks about it for a second, says goat. I go, fuck. I really wanted to call that, but that is the heads or tails, so we are going to fold this hand, and our opponent shows an 8 of spades. This isn't the card he picked. He said pick one. I said right card, so he shows the 8 of spades. He could honestly have an ace of hearts here, but I think that we just got bluffed off a huge pot here. So, very nice hand. Terrible run out, but congratulations. Alright, we have ace queen off under the gun +1. Standard raise to 20, and we do get 3 callers in the hijack, the cutoff, as well as the big blind defending. So 4 ways to a flop. It's sweet. Ace queen 9 rainbow. We only lose to pocket 9s pretty much. So when it checks to us, we are going to bet small, $30. Cutoff and big blind both make the call. So off to a turn, which is the 4 of spades. Checks it over to us. I'm going to use a little bit of a bigger sizing here, 60%-ish. So I bet $100 and the cutoff makes the call. Big blind gets out the way. Off to a river, hoping for a clean one. Does come the 3 of diamonds, so we finally have an easy decision. We are going to bet probably about 60 to 80%. Looks good here, so I make it 275. Our opponent thinks for quite a while, and I start getting worried that he's going to raise us. Just how aggressive this game is, but he eventually decides on a fold, so we're not going to get paid that hand. Alright, so in this hand, the good kind of straddle is on. The under the gun player has put in $10 like an adult. We're in the small blind with ace 10 of clubs, definitely going to raise this up to 35. Big blind gets out the way, and the straddler makes the call. So off to a flop, which comes down 10, 7, 4, 2 diamonds. We got top pair, top kicker. Definitely going to want to size up on this board. It's pretty dynamic and wet, as well as being heads up. So we can use bigger sizings. So make it $50, 66% pot, and he makes a call. Turn is pretty bad. It's a queen of diamonds. Definitely going to go in check call mode here. So we check it over to him, and he checks it back. River's pretty good though. It's queen of hearts, so makes a queen even less likely. On this river, I'm definitely going to want to have 2 sizings. I'm going to want like a small sizing and a very large overbet sizing. Decide on the small one with this hand. Definitely going to include some strong hands in there as well. So I bet about third pot, $65. I think I actually like an even smaller sizing, like 1/5, but as played, I think 1/3 is fine. He thinks for quite a while, and I start getting worried he's going to raise me again, but eventually he just decides on a call. So we are going to scoop that one. Ace 10 is definitely good here. Alright, getting near the end of this session, the button straddle is on and the big blind completes for $10. We have 8-6 of diamonds under the gun. Going to raise this up, we're going to make it $40, and it folds around back to the button. Sorry, the hijack makes a call, and button gets out the way, and the big blind, who completed, also makes a call. So 3 ways to a flop, which comes out pretty good. Ace 9 7 with a diamond. So we flop an open ender, backdoor flush draw. There's an ace on the board, which is good because we can use it to bluff. He checks to us. We're going to bet small here, 40 bucks, and they both call. Turns pretty good. It's the jack of clubs. So if we had 10-8, now we've got a straight, and us having the 8 makes it less likely that they have 10-8 suited. So when it checks to us, I'm going to want to size up here a bit. I can't just bet, $70 here. So I do make it a little bit larger, 175, which is about 60% here, and get it through. So pretty happy with that one. All right, we're playing our last few free hands before we're about to rack up. Button straddles on, big blind completes, and then the person to our right in early position makes it $45. I have 9-7 suited. You can call, but this game in middle to early position, calling here is just going to invite squeezes. So if I want to play his hand, it's got to be a raise. I'm going to go about 3.3x here because we're quite deep. So I make it 150. Folds back to the player who thinks for a bit and then tosses in the call. So heads up to a flop, which comes down pretty good for a range. Ace, king, 5, 2 hearts. If we're very deep, I would probably overbet this flop. But we're not. We can easily get stacks in with just normal bet sizes. So he checks to us, definitely going to range bet here then. Make it 120 and he calls. So pretty much done with this hand at this point. So onto the turn, which is a 3 of hearts. Checks it to me, and here I get greedy. I see the 3 of hearts and I go, okay, I can actually use a medium, like a half pot bet and get a pretty good price on my bluff rather than having to go like 70% here. And I fire out $275 that I'll never see again. This is just bad. We're on our last few hands. We could just rack up. I don't know what I'm doing. This is terrible. He makes a call and we're off to a river, which doesn't even matter what it is. We're done with the hand. Jack of clubs. He checks it over to us. And we're just going to give up here. I'm not going to jam here. Like, he could just have like ace queen, but no, we're going to give this one up. Check it back, and our opponent shows ace king off, so he flopped top 2. Really glad I didn't bluff the river. Really upset I bet the turn when I shouldn't have. But that's poker. We all make mistakes. And we're going to book a small loss this session.
That's going to wrap up episode 9 of the Bankroll Challenge. We played 2-5 here at Grand Villa. We're in for 500, got stacked, rebought for another 500, got down to 300, rebought, so we're in for $1,500, built that stack up to 2.5K, and then finally ended it by cashing out for 1112 for a loss of $388. So I think that's our third or fourth 2-5 loss. We haven't booked a win yet. That's going to bring the bankroll down to $2,395. A skill level difference from 1-3 to 2-5 is astronomical. People have 4-bet bluffs. Definitely going to be way under roll to play in such a tough game. So we're going to grind out 1-3 and use some more proper bankroll management, I think. It's just getting a bit tough to play in these games with such a short roll. But that's going to be it for me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to check out a new casino. So see you next week or something.